All right, so welcome back. It is Tuesday afternoon, and I wanted to walk you through a couple of the processes that I do as far as making t-shirts and making masks. Those are the things lately that have been selling the best for me, and so kind of want to walk you through the entire process. So stay tuned for that, and a little shout out to Makari here in just a moment. We'll be right back. All right, so I listed my first item on Mercari today, and that was this Apple Pencil. So this is an Apple Pencil 1. What had happened was I had bought a, what was it? An Apple iPad Air. I believe it was the third version, third edition or whatever, and bought the Apple Pencil to go along with it. And Apple Pencil showed up first. I got excited and opened it up, and then they canceled my order for the iPad. So I turned around and bought the iPad 4, but that meant I needed the second edition iPad Pencil. So I actually never used this. I opened it up and looked at it, but it was never used. So I decided to throw it on Mercari today, and it sold within minutes, actually. Threw it up there after seeing some sell for, around the $50 range up to the $60, max all the way up to $70. I threw mine on there for $70, and it sold, I would say, probably within less than 30 minutes. Really surprised about that, although that's a great price for essentially a brand new Apple Pencil, which these go for about $99. So I'm out a little bit of money, but I'm okay with that. It's better than it sitting around here gathering dust. At least I get most of my money back. And that's a nice little thing on Mercari. Shout out to Mercari for, I was really thinking it was going to sit there for a while. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm looking around my apartment here for other electronics that I can throw out on Mercari and eBay. Just stuff that have been sitting around that I haven't used in years. So I'll be doing that this week while I'm off. It's the Thanksgiving break. And I'll be posting those as soon as I kind of collect everything from around the closets and whatnot. But today I wanted to show you, the process that I go through as far as making masks. So stay tuned for that. I'll be right back, and we're going to make some masks and maybe a t-shirt or two. All right, so I'm back. What I wanted to do was actually pull up, created a new, well, I didn't create it. I had a logo created for somebody else who, let's check it out here and see if it turned out all right. And make sure these colors are good, because I'm not so sure they are. I'm going to come back to that one because I don't think the colors are quite where I was. But I have somebody that I use to create logos for me, or take them and digitize images or whatnot to where they're printable. But what I'm going to do is go in here. I'm going to kind of show you my computer here. And I am going to go on, and we're going to look at one of the designs I'm going to print out for a mask. And now I have quite a few designs on here. A lot of them I pay for. Let me get out of here and go to my holiday designs. A lot of them I pay for through a service. Actually, I just downloaded this one. I'm going to open that one up. And I use Photoshop to print a lot of these out. I'm going to pull up another one here. I had, what do you call it? Somebody actually asked for this design at the last show I was at. So I'm going to open this up and make a few of these as well, because, well, that's what they were asking for. So I think I'm going to make shirts out of that one. But a lot of these designs I get online. Some of them I make myself. Just depends on what it is. This is a lady that I've been going through on Facebook for a while now, and she makes some phenomenal Christmas designs. So I use a lot of her Christmas designs. So this is going to be sublimation, and that's what my masks are. What that is a printing process. I'll kind of walk you through it here as my Photoshop opens up. It is a bit slow. Computer's a bit old, and it doesn't really handle a whole lot at once. But yeah, that's all right. You know, it's been a good computer for me. All right, so here it is opening up in Photoshop. Hopefully, very slowly. It's all right. We're all good. And once I have the design, really all I have to do, and there's one of them. Apparently these trucks have been really popular of late. I had somebody ask about this truck, basically because I believe Walmart is selling a lot of things. So this is the one I'm going to print out here and make a few masks of. As you can see, all of the characters there. So really what I want to do is I want to make sure that my size is correct for my mask. So I'm going to crop this just a little bit. That way when I size it, it's sizing the image and not that extra blank space at the top and bottom, really. So doobie-doobie-doo. Maybe it will crop here in just a second. Come on now. It's running a bit slow. Alright, so I want to make sure I crop out this extra space at the top and bottom, because I'm really worried about the height more than the width when I do the masks, because I gotta make sure they fit in there. So I want to go into my image here and I want to resize it. Whoops. Ooh, it's going too slow for my taste. Come on, baby. This is what happens when you have an old computer. No bueno, by the way. That's one thing I hope to do next year is update my computer. I had a great one that I bought when I was in Korea teaching. Loved it. It was a Dell XPS 13-inch, and it was the best computer I ever had. But the power cord fried it one day. Was not happy. All right, so I want to make sure this is going to go here. So I typically make my, okay, that's going to be a little bit tall, or a little bit, let's see, let's go down to, I usually need to make these about 3.5 inches. That way, and that was, so if you go into image size, I make them about 3.5 inches tall. The width is going to fit in there. The width is about 8 inches on my mask, but this gives me a little leeway as far as the height goes, and as far as, and I'll show you, because the mask kind of dips down, so some of the edges, we kind of lose some of the, you know, where it says friends sometimes. So I want to make sure it's all going to fit in there. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it horizontally, and then I'm going to print. So I'm going to print a couple copies here. And then we'll head to the printer and I'll be right back. All right, so here's my printer, and you'll have to excuse the mess around here. I've got some old printouts up top there that I need to make some socks and some t-shirts out of. This is my Epson Workforce 7710. I love it. It's been a great printer for me. It's not top of the line by any means, but it's done really well. You know, hopefully next year I'll be upgrading my printer, but you know, no hurry right now. So those images are coming out here. I printed, I believe, 3 of them. We're gonna make a couple masks. So while those are printing, and you can see that coming out here, nice little image there. I'm gonna pop on over here to my heat press, and I'm gonna kick it on. Now that's gonna take me, you know, good probably 15-20 minutes to heat up to where I need it to be at 400 degrees. Love this heat press. This is by Pro World. It's the Trans Pro 1620, which means it is a 16 by 20. And I have loved it ever since I got it. So it's a beast, and we'll be back once I get everything done. It looks like I'm out of paper over here, so I'm gonna load that up and let the heat press heat up. All right, so kind of want to show you what I'm doing here. I got my printouts here. I got my masks. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take these out. And then essentially what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tape the mask down to the paper here. So you got two sides here. The side with the seam is the cotton. It's really soft cotton. And then the side without the seam is the polyester. That's what I'm gonna be printing on. And so here I'm gonna flip this over. I'm going to center it as best as possible. See, this is where you got to make sure that the fringe is going to show up on the bottom there, because sometimes when you get it a little too short, you can see where I'm missing a little bit of the spot there. So I got to make sure that everything fits just right. Got to make sure that we're centered up there as best as possible. And then I'm going to go ahead and tape it down here on the corners. This is going to hold everything in place while I press it. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the next two as well. Those bad boys taken care of. Uno más, one more. The good thing is I can kind of see through the mask a little bit, so it helps me align it. So does the seam. Now the seam is not exactly the middle. You can see it's not exactly straight, but still really helps me kind of align everything there. So I've got that aligned. My heat press is just at 130 degrees, so we're gonna come back to that, and I'll be back in a moment once my heat press is up and going. All right, so I'm back. I got a couple other things lined up here. One I'm going to do is make a couple shirts out of this. Merry Christmas. Apparently this truck I've had some requests for, so I want to see how it comes out on the gray shirt. And that's what I'm going to do first. That's where my heat press is set up for, at least the temperature wise right now. So give me a second. Let's pop over there and let's press the shirt. All right, so setting up my shirt here. As you can see, I got the pull-out drawer, which I really like. This is a clamshell heat press. I really like this old swing away that I had. However, it was much smaller, and I needed a bigger heat press. So that's why I picked this one up. We're going to press this shirt at pretty light pressure for about 30 seconds. I got my heat going, so let's see how that turns out. As you can see there, it was pretty easy to put that down. You're going to notice a lot of difference in the pressure from when I press the t-shirts to when I press the masks. The masks are going to require a bit more pressure, especially when I'm printing a full color mask. Something like this. Anything like this that has, full color all around it, it's going to take a little bit more pressure. There's my heat press telling me that that is done. So let's pop this off. Pull off my transfer here. Oh yeah, that's looking quite nice. Oop, I missed my trash. Got a little trash box down here to. Let's pull this out, make sure we don't burn ourselves, and I think it looks pretty good. So there's my t-shirt. I'll throw one more on there while I got it made up here. Throw that on there. Put my cover sheet on top here, just so we protect the heat press a little bit. Down it goes. And in 30 seconds, we'll have another t-shirt. So that's essentially the process for sublimation. You know, it's going to go from the printer to the sublimation print, or I'm sorry, from the computer to the sublimation printer, which is my Epson 7710. You know, it has that special ink. Now, what happens when it hits this heat, it's going to essentially turn into a gas and attach itself to those polyester fibers. Now, this can only be done on polyester. Now, these are really nice shirts that feel cotton-like, but they are 95% polyester, I think 5% spandex. So, once again, really nice t-shirt there. I'll throw that over to the side. Now we're going to get ready to do some masks. So I'm going to crank down the pressure a little bit here. Make sure we get a good tight pressure on those masks. I'm going to get rid of my pressing pillow here. I only use that with t-shirts. And instead, I'm going to replace it with just a couple sheets of printer paper. Usually, I use craft paper, but I don't have any out right now. So I usually put craft paper on top and on bottom, but I'm out, so there's a little bit more pressure there, as you can see. And we'll give that 30 seconds and see how that turns out. This is actually a kids mask that I'm printing. Had 2 left. I don't really sell too many kids masks, so I had 2 left and figured I'd throw some Christmas designs on here, see if I could sell them at the next show that I go to here in just over a week, about a week and a half. I'm at an awkward angle here, and that's really tight pressure, by the way. So it kind of makes it hard to lift with the camera right there. Pull this off, take off our lovely tape here. And this is what my kids mask is going to look like. Give me a second. Friends. Got some Christmas characters there. Let's do the same thing with one of our adult masks. Now these I sell a lot more of. I really don't sell a whole lot of kids masks, but I sell a lot of adult masks. Through the pandemic, I've done a lot of masks for schools, masks for teachers, masks for small businesses. I've sold a lot of Christmas masks. I've sold a lot of Ruth Bader Ginsburg masks. And it's been one of my best products. As much as I would love the pandemic to end, I am making money off of masks, so can't really complain about that too much. Whew. Tight pressure. Oh, that's hot. All right, let's pull this off and see what our adult mask looks like. Get the tape off and the transfer. And there she is. We got Elf, Griswold, Home Alone. I think that's going to be a good seller. So I'm going to come back here momentarily. And whoop, there we are. I'm going to go ahead and finish these masks off, and I will talk to you soon. So everybody out there, hope you enjoyed this little bit of knowledge. It's an easy thing to do. If you have any questions, post them down below. Be sure to hit that like button. I'd love for you to subscribe and follow along. But until then, love you guys. Y'all are awesome. Be good.